13 News at 10. Your news leader.
Hello, everyone. I'm Michelle Bandor. Thanks for being with us on this Sunday evening. Well, after filling the city's skyline for more than 60 years, the old First National Bank building went down this morning in a cloud of dust in just seconds. 13's Robin Wilson begins our team coverage of the implosion, and Robin is standing by live at the site where the old First National Bank building stood just 13 hours ago. Robin, I take it things have quieted down just a little bit down there?
Well, actually, you'd be surprised, Michelle. In fact, I've never seen downtown here so busy, especially on a Sunday night at 10 o'clock. There's cars driving by all over the place. There's people standing here looking around. They're hanging around the fence here around the outside of the old First National Bank building just to take a look at how amazing it is that this used to be a 14-story building. In fact, this is a 30-foot high pile of rubble, and it used to be a 14-story building. So I guess today, with months of preparation and a couple miles of wires and a couple 100 pounds of explosives, 535 Kansas went out with a bang. In just seconds, it was all gone. Demolition crews say today's implosion went off without a hitch.
It looked fantastic from where we were standing at Capitol Federal, and it was just as we expected it to go.
You know, 5 minutes before, you're like a father waiting to have a baby. You're so anxious about it, and you don't know if you're going to be in business in 5 minutes or not, and you pray for the best and hope, you just trust in all the abilities that we have.
Engineered Demolition is still in business without so much as a broken window on their conscience. Even the very nearby AFL-CIO office building, which raised some risk concerns earlier, fared well.
Yeah, you always have concerns, but my biggest concern was breaking windows in 515 Kansas. That was my biggest concern. It really wasn't about hitting the AFL-CIO.
Protective tarps at 515 Kansas unveiled windows without cracks. With the old First National Bank now close to being completely out of the way, owner of the lot, Amvestors Financial Corporation, is ready to put a new building in its place.
It's exciting. We're anxious to build our new home office building.
Amvestors hopes to start building this projected new home office, which is not the skyscraper the bank was, within the month. The company plans to be in the building before the end of 1996. And as for engineered demolition, one building down, more to go.
We are going up to Canada to do another building.
Engineered demolition may be moving on to other buildings, but here in Topeka, the excitement is just about over, and they'll be cleaning up this pile of mess in the next couple of weeks. But 535 Kansas here will soon be filled with a brand new building. Michelle?
Well, Robin, what's going to actually happen with the rubble there? Can people come down and take a piece of history home with them?
Well, I think some people here tonight have sure been trying to take a little piece of it home with them. I don't advise that, however. This area is gated off, so I would not advise anyone to try to get in there. But, if you hang around long enough, maybe somebody who is authorized to get in there can get you a piece of something. But it is not legal to get in there and climb around yourself. In fact, it'd be rather dangerous. But, however, for anybody who would like to enjoy some of the old pieces of 535 Kansas, they will be incorporated into the new Amvestors building. They will be using some of the pink and white marble pink and green marble that was inside the old building and the old clock that was out in front. So you just have to wait until 1996 and then go in and enjoy those things in the Amvestors building. Michelle?
Robin Wilson live at where 535 Kansas used to be. Thank you, Robin. Demolition crews weren't the only ones excited for today's big blast. Thousands showed up to watch the long-awaited implosion. 13's Sandra Levis was in the crowd of curious onlookers, and those expecting an awesome view weren't disappointed.
It looks like a scene out of Woodstock. Instead, a bird's eye view from the 13 helicopter shows thousands who converged on downtown Topeka this morning, anticipating the implosion.
We came here about 6 or something, and we've been walking back and forth trying to find a spot, and there's a whole bunch of people here.
With so many curious people, some found themselves out of luck.
I guess we got here a little too late. We got trees in front of most of the view, but it was the closest spot we could find. So,
if I don't have a good seat, I just use my height, you know, see over everybody else.
But some not so tall tried to outsmart the crowd by getting as high off the ground as possible. Those on the ground improvised in their own way by sitting on shoulders to sitting on trucks and on cars. And the topic of conversation, memories of the old bank building.
We watched it go up. The guys up on the framework, way up high, there'd be 3 of us walking, and they would holler and scream, and we just watched it go up from a hole in the ground to that. My husband worked there on 9th floor for a while, but that was past history, ancient history. You gotta go. You gotta go.
I can remember going in that building when I was, 3 and 4, thinking it's the largest place in the world, It's sad to see it go, but...
Then, in a matter of seconds and a blink of an eye, it was all over.
First time I've ever seen anything like this here, live up.
It made me sort of like jump when I heard the big bang. I like the way it sounds, and it was pretty neat.
Others weren't so happy.
Started to cry. It was so sad. Yeah, we were just looking at it and then it was gone.
There were a lot of mixed feelings out here today. Some say the implosion was even better than the movies. And as you can see, there are still a lot of curious people out here. Some are taking one last look before heading home.
It was phenomenal. It was just great. I couldn't believe that it went so quickly. I want an instant replay now.
So, with that last request, Sandra Rivas, 13 News at 10.
Well, with any large crowd, sometimes people get a little too curious. Alec Joler of Lawrence took these pictures with his home video camera of the arrest of one man whose curiosity crossed the line. After the implosion, Edward Delano Pierce, Jr. rode his bike around the barricade. He apparently was trying to get a piece of the rock from the aftermath. Topeka police stopped him and asked for his ID. Pierce refused, and one officer was forced to use mace spray to restrain him. Pierce was given a notice to appear in municipal court on a misdemeanor charge for disobeying a police order. After a background check, officers arrested Pierce for having a warrant out for his arrest. But besides this arrest, police say there were no other problems with the large crowd that gathered. The bank building went out in a huge cloud of dust, but underneath the dust is a huge mess. 13 intern Dana Wright continues our special coverage of the implosion with the aftermath.
After the successful implosion of downtown's First National Bank, officials are facing a different kind of challenge, cleaning up the mess. Within seconds, the former 14-story complex transformed into a great big pile of metal, cement, glass, marble, and let's not forget the dust.
Well, things have calmed down a little bit since the First National Bank dropped out of Topeka's skyline, but for some, the real work is just beginning.
Well, we'll start cleaning up the debris pile tomorrow. The goal today is just get the streets cleared so everybody can have businesses.
But even though the major cleanup starts tomorrow, crews had to get some of the rubble out of the way today. According to one KPL official, 2 electric crews, 2 gas crews, 3 construction crews, and 4 surveyors are all working together to get things cleaned up.
It's going really well. We have our gas and electric crews down here, and we're surveying all the gas lines, making sure everything is safe for our customers downtown.
Even though it took only 7 seconds for the building to tumble down, it will take cleanup crews about a month to clear away what's left of the old First National Bank building, a piece of Topeka's history. Dana Wright, 13 News.
Now that the old First National Bank building is in a pile of rubble, all that's left are the memories. 13 Sally Baltus takes a look back at the rich and colorful history of 535 Kansas.
Like the best of the old TV shows, 535 Kansas is vintage, a classic. But for this piece of our past, no reruns. It was a magnificent building in its time, the first real skyscraper in Topeka, an Art Deco design patterned after the LaSalle building in Chicago. Built in the Depression, it was built to last.
They had enormous vault doors, which led into an enormous vault. And the idea was to make you think that your money was really secure locked in this vault.
When the First National Bank moved in 1970, it was the beginning of the end.
You know what'd happen sooner or later.
The state had offices here for a while, but the building's been empty now for over a dozen years. Still so many memories, though, for so many people, even for me. Don Chubb first brought me to this vacant, unheated building in the dead of winter in 1994. He was fascinated by the basement vaults and thought it a great adventure to go exploring. It was an adventure, all right, when we got locked in.
We are locked in here, you guys. We are locked in here.
Well, let's finish up first.
We are. Let's see if there's any. We are locked. We are locked.
Two nice workmen we didn't know were there heard the yelling and kindly came to rescue us. A little tidbit to tell the grandkids someday. After today, stories and pictures and relics will be all that's left.
The time has come.
Goodbye, 535 Kansas, and thanks for the memories. Sally Baltus, 13 News.